You finally finished your draft. You sit down to edit and suddenly every sentence looks terrible. You start thinking, this book is awful. Who am I kidding? I can't write. Sound familiar? That feeling has a name, imposter syndrome. And it loves to show up right when you start editing. Today, I'm talking about why imposter syndrome hits hardest during the editing phase and how to quiet that voice so you can finish strong. Imposter syndrome is that nagging belief that you don't belong or that your success so far was just luck. It whispers things like, you're not a real writer. Everyone will figure out you're faking it. Your writing isn't good enough. But here's the truth. Imposter syndrome doesn't mean you're failing. It means you care. You're challenging yourself, stretching your skills, and doing something that matters to you. That's exactly when fear tries to creep in. It's not proof that you're a fraud. It's proof that you're doing something brave. So, why does imposter syndrome love the editing phase so much? Because editing forces you to look at your work through a critical lens. In drafting, you're creating freely. But during editing, you're evaluating every sentence. And that switch from creator to critic can feel brutal. You're no longer in the flow. You're analyzing. And suddenly, your focus shifts from storytelling to judgment. You start noticing what's wrong ahead of what's working. And before you know it, your inner critic has taken over the conversation. The thing is, editing doesn't make your writing worse. It reveals what needs polishing. But imposter syndrome tricks you into believing flaws mean failure. Imposter syndrome is your brain's way of trying to protect you. When you edit, you're getting closer to publishing, closer to putting your work out there for others to judge. That triggers fear of rejection and embarrassment. Your mind wants to keep you safe, so it says, maybe we shouldn't do this. That's not weakness. It's self-protection gone overboard. Once you recognize it for what it is, you can thank your brain for trying to help and then say, I got this. Confidence doesn't mean you stop feeling scared. It means you move forward anyway. If you're finding this helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and tap the notification bell so you're always first to know when a new video drops. Another reason imposter syndrome shows up during edits is perfectionism. Editing gives you control, and that control can turn obsessive. You start thinking, if I fix everything, then no one will criticize me. But perfection is impossible. Even best-selling books have typos and awkward lines. Trying to edit your book into perfect is like chasing the horizon. It keeps moving. Your goal isn't perfection, it's clarity. Your job is to make the story stronger, not flawless. When you accept that, editing becomes less about proving yourself and more about improving your craft. So let's talk about comparison, because nothing fuels imposter syndrome faster. While you're editing, it's easy to think about other authors. How does their writing sound so much better? My book will never be like that one. But you're comparing your in-progress work with someone's finished product. The book has already gone through rounds of editing, beta readers, proofreaders, and professional polish. You're still in the middle of the process. You can't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Instead of comparison, focus on curiosity. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this author's style that might help me improve mine? When imposter syndrome starts talking, don't fight it, reframe it. Instead of saying, this chapter is terrible, say, this chapter needs work and I know how to fix it. Replace judgment with direction. Your inner critic points out problems, but your inner coach helps you solve them. A good self-coaching trick is to edit as if you're helping a friend. You'd never say, wow, this sucks. You'd say, okay, This part's confusing. How can we make it clearer? That gentle shift keeps you productive and confident. You're not beating yourself up. You're helping your book shine. When imposter syndrome hits, it makes you forget how far you've come. Take a look at an older piece of writing, maybe your first draft or an earlier short story. Compare it to what you're editing today. You'll see it immediately. You've grown. Your writing voice is stronger. Your pacing is tighter. Your storytelling is clearer. That growth didn't happen by accident. It came from showing up, learning, and improving. You're not the same writer who started this book, and that's a good thing. Imposter syndrome often blurs the line between your work and your identity. If you start thinking, if this chapter is bad, I'm bad. But your writing is a skill, not just self-worth. You can love your story and still admit it needs improvement. You can recognize your talent and still learn more. That balance is what makes great authors keep growing. When you detach your value from your work, feedback stops feeling personal and editing becomes freeing instead of painful. You stop editing to prove something and start editing to create something better. Confidence doesn't come from positive thinking. It comes from consistent action. Every editing session, every page you revise is proof that you're serious about your craft. You don't need to feel confident before you start. You build confidence by showing up anyway. So here's a simple trick. Keep a progress log. After each lesson, jot down one thing you fixed or improved. On days you feel like a fraud, look back at that list. It's tangible proof that you're doing the work, and that's what real authors do. When imposter syndrome gets loud, return to your why. Why did you start writing this book? Who did you write it for? What message or feeling do you want readers to take away? That purpose is stronger than your fear. When you focus on serving your readers, self-doubt fades. You're no longer editing to look perfect. You're editing to make an impact. That shift changes everything. Imposter syndrome will always try to show up when you're doing something that matters. It's a sign that you care. It means you're growing as a writer. You don't need to silence that voice completely. You just need to remind it who's in charge. So keep editing, keep learning, keep writing. And when you finally hit publish, remember, a slow start doesn't define your worth. If your next launch doesn't go the way you hoped, don't panic. Check out this video where I show you how to bounce back stronger and keep your writing career moving forward. You got this. I'll see you there.